Please don't mistake us as being racist. We're not. Look, we're giving millions of dollars to these people. And it doesn't matter whether they're criminals or not. Because the heart of most Americans, I believe, is pure and true. But they don't look at the wide perspective. They don't look at the whole picture. They're screaming, hey, we're not racist. Look, we're paying these people millions and millions of dollars. And it's like, do it for someone who matters. Don't make martyrs out of criminals.
Right.
Don't take someone just based on the color of their skin and say, you know, we're going to help them. And they were wrong. You know, there was no justice. There was no right for them to shoot him and do all these things when he was a criminal. You can't do that. You can't justify those actions later on. Because when people read this in history, they're going to be like, what were these crazy son of bitches thinking?
Right.
Like,
right.
So all you had to do in America at the time in 2020 was be a criminal, and then tomorrow you'd be a millionaire? Mm-hmm. Hell yeah.
I mean, you know, the thing is right now, if you look at what's happening, these BLM, Antifa, these young black people, these young white people, I mean, are out in the streets tearing up and burning down their own fucking cities.
Yeah.
It's their own towns.
Right.
This is where they have to fucking shop at.
Right.
Who's going to rebuild that?
They don't
George
care.
Soros ain't going to fucking pay for it. Hillary Clinton's fucking ass ain't going to pay for it.
No.
And realistically, this all goes back to fucking George Floyd.
The taxpayers will pay for it.
Yeah, of course.
The Democrat ran cities that this is
these
happening in now is already petitioning for millions, upwards of billions of dollars to fix the cities that's been burned.
But I mean, a lot of these, like the small business owners and stuff, their insurance is not paying for it. There was an article the other day.
That's what I said. They've lost their entire lives.
Yeah, there was a gentleman the other day, a car dealership. I think he committed suicide.
Right.
I mean, because the fact of the matter is, he worked his whole life to build this business up. They burnt the fucking thing down.
But the media tried to debunk that too. They tried to say that it wasn't real, that didn't happen. I don't know if I told you that.
I don't think you told me that. Yeah.
So it's like, wait a second. So if the narrative swings the other way to where someone's killing themselves because their livelihood dissipated within a 24-hour time span,
right.
Their whole life was changed in such a small period of time, that sways the narrative, so we can't hear about that stuff. You know?
Right.
It's like they take all that away. If it leaks out, they try to debunk it. They say, no, this didn't happen.
Exactly.
It's so unfair.
Yeah, I mean, but like I was saying, though, this whole thing goes back to George Floyd. I mean, that was really what the kicker, the start to the whole thing was. And they have literally made a martyr out of a convicted felon.
A cokehead, a convicted
man,
felon.
He was so jacked up on shit. I mean, I've seen meth heads laying on a street corner that weren't that fucking
Go look
jacked
at his mug shots from previous arrests. How fucked up he was. He couldn't even hold his eyes open.
This guy's got more mug shots than most people have photos in yearbooks.
Right.
I mean, that's how fucking ridiculous it is. But it was just an excuse to get out and burn the fucking cities down and rob and loot shit. But I go back to my previous statement, and I'll stand beside it. Did you notice that after all the television and electronics were gone, the black people went home?
Right. Yeah.
And then it was just a bunch of white kids
people,
out here screaming,
have no idea
Black
what
Lives
they're doing.
Matters bullshit.
Well, that's like they buried George Floyd in a gold casket.
Yeah.
It's like, do you know how many hard-working Americans, tax-paying Americans out here can't even afford to bury their loved ones?
Right.
And you're going to put a convicted criminal, who was high on fentanyl and God knows what else at the time of his death, you're going to bury him in a gold casket?
Right.
That the public paid for.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, hell, we're still under COVID restrictions. Most people can't. You can only have a certain number attend a funeral.
Right.
But there were, 4 days or some shit the funeral ran and shit like that or something. I don't remember. I mean, I don't keep tabs on it because it's so unimportant to me. It's crazy. But I mean, they make martyrs out of people like this. And it's like I said before, I think the majority of the population must think that they're doing some kind of good by standing up for them or giving them money or something like that. And it's like, if you want to dish out money to a cause, find something worthy.
Right. Yeah.
Find something worthy. Something that's going to benefit everyone in this country. Something that's going to change things for the good. And
I mean, right now in the United States, there are kids every day going without food.
Right.
I mean, there's people that losing their jobs, their electricity's getting
Veterans,
turned off.
homeless veterans.
And
that's
what
kills
these
me.
people, if they want to give their fucking money to a charity,
Exactly.
give it to somebody that actually
Right.
done something.
Can you
for
imagine,
the country?
like, for instance, the $12 million that Breonna Taylor's family was awarded? That $12 million, do you know how many homes could be built or purchased? Give a homeless veteran a $50,000 home.
Right.
You know how many homes that would have provided? For someone who fought for this country and the freedom that you wake up to every day. I mean, the fact that in this country we can see a home or even utter the words homeless veteran is ridiculous. We should be ashamed. We should be ashamed.
All that money needs to be going to the Towers of Tunnel Foundation.
Right.
Instead of going to these losers,
Right.
that if they weren't doing something wrong in the first place, would never had to run in with the police.
And in reality, the millions of dollars that's going to these people are, like we had talked about before, they're from GoFundMe. It's the GoFundMe takes a cut of it, but the rest of it goes to the family. These organizations, it's funded by George Soros. None of this money is going to the community. It's a money laundering for the Democrat Party. That's all it is.
Right.
That's all it is.
Right.
So none of it's even going to help any of these people that they're out here saying Black Lives Matter. Do you think that these billions of dollars that these organizations have taken in are going to help the black community? What's it going to help them do? Are they going to demolish the Planned Parenthood that's on every corner of a black community? That'd be a step. Quit killing black babies. You know what I mean? They don't give a shit. They don't care about none of this stuff. And people need to wake up and they need to realize that. The only future, or the greatest future for this country would be for the black and white people to unite and say, there is no racism. We're here. We're equal. Let's fight for what we feel this country deserves to be, or what we strive to be. And once we unify, only then can this country be absolutely great again. Don't let the media fuel the fire and say that we're a racist any longer, because it's out of hand.
Right. Right. And another thing, like you were saying, was, like the liquor stores and stuff like that. And the Democrats are always talking about how there's a liquor store and an abortion clinic and stuff on every corner of every ghetto and project. But the thing is, just because they put a liquor store there doesn't mean you have to use it.
No, but I mean,
it really doesn't.
But a lot of people, the first thing they reach for is some sort of substance that's going to take away the pain that they're feeling. If you live in a community where your kids can't go to a good school, you can't afford to eat.
There's a lot of excuses that can be made. But the fact of the matter is, if you're born poor, that's your parents' fault.
Sure.
But if you die poor, that's your own fucking
fault.
I'm
not saying that there's not a way to pull yourself
because
up.
Because in the United States,
dust yourself off and get on.
Every single human being, especially if your parents didn't go to college, can get FAFSA. Everybody
my point,
has
I guess,
right. Everybody can go to college.
Right.
In
my
the United
point,
States.
I guess, is that it's not. I'm not saying that they deserve handouts. I'm saying that they need to wake up and realize that the party that they affiliate with, the party that they vote for, is the very party that's kept them in despair for so long. They make these open-ended promises that never take place and never happen, and they continue to do this over and over again. And they need to wake up and realize that the racist party of the government is the Democrats. They've always been, and they'll always be. And Joe Biden is a racist prick. There is no way around that. When Robert Byrd died, the Grandmaster of the KKK, he died a fucking Democrat in office, 90-some years old. And at his actual funeral, Joe Biden said he was a mentor of his.
Right.
So It's like, why would you cast a vote for someone whose mentor is the head of the KKK?
Right.
Wake up. What are you doing right now?
Well, I mean, there's documented proof. It's easily found that Joe Biden's family were slave owners.
Right.
And Kamala Harris's family were
slave owners. Yeah.
I mean, it's just right there.
But they do. It's like it's the same type of situation that I'd said on a previous podcast, where it's the Democrats are pretty much trying to troll Trump by saying, not only are you going to lose, but you're going to lose to this puppet here. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. It's like now they've put Kamala Harris on the ticket, and it's like, so now we're going to get all the black votes, even though the people you're voting for is family-owned slaves. It's like they're trying. I don't know if politicians don't have anything else better to do than to troll the common folk of America or what, but that's almost what the fuck it looks like.
Right.
You know, it's like, ha, 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 we're going to do all this shit, and you're going to be stupid enough to vote for us. It's like they have nothing else to entertain themselves.
Right. But, I mean, what to me, I really feel like, and it really breaks down to, is that black people in America are not oppressed anymore.
Hell no.
But they are oppressed to a point by themselves.
Yes.
I mean, there are poor white people born every day, and they work their way out.
Right.
They get out of the bad spots. They go to college. They go on to good, prolific careers. But they don't want to work their way out. Right now, the Democrats have got them exactly where they want them at, with all these government handout programs, living, off the government.
Well, they better wake up with that, too, because
I mean,
once this country becomes socialist, if it ever does, you ain't going to have those handouts. That'll be the first thing to go.
Right, exactly.
Not
but
that
they're
you'll
not
work
telling
for
anybody
it.
that. Of course, they're not going to tell the black population,
No.
oh, yeah, by the way, when we get this socialism thing going on, your shit is gone. Your handouts are gone.
Right.
And y'all are going to have to find some place to live. So, we're going to have to shut down the liquor store and the abortion clinic. And no matter how many kids you have, you don't get any extra paychecks for it every year. And I mean, so, sorry about your luck, but thank you for voting for us.
Right. That's
that's
exactly the way to
really
be,
where
too.
it is going. But, man, tonight, I can't wait. Trump is about to make a bitch out of Joe Biden.
Yes.
I mean, it's going to be
Mop
bad.
the floor with him.
I'm telling you, my prediction is Joe Biden doesn't make it 3 minutes and 30 seconds in before he starts going into what sounds like modern rap.
Maybe. Yeah. Just a bunch of mumble.
Yeah, just
I don't know.
Mumble hip-hop.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He's different. Like if you watch tapes from him 8 years ago, he was different,
Right.
12 years ago, he was different. At the start of the Obama and Biden era, he was different.
Maybe tonight he'll take uppers instead of downers.
Who knows?
I mean, hey, you can't never tell. Maybe he needs to get on some of that good weed instead of some of that bad weed. He needs to call Joe Rogan, see what kind of weed Joe Rogan's on. Because Joe Rogan does one hell of a podcast.
Oh, yeah.
So whatever weed Joe Rogan's smoking is what Biden needs to even stand on stage with Trump. It's a damn shame they even let him on stage with Trump.
I'm not complaining. I want to see the fight.
Well, no, I mean, hell, that's pissing on Trump's shoes, letting him on stage with him.
Well,
I mean, they should put him like a chair out front and let Trump stand on the stage because, I mean, they're not even on the same fucking level.
I think that Trump needs to talk policy and not try to defend himself. I think that if Biden gets him in a corner somehow, I don't know how he would, to where he feels like he has to defend himself, then I'm not sure. But I don't know how, like you said, 3 minutes. I don't know. I mean, they got goofy ass Chris Wallace doing it, and it's like, I don't know.
Oh, and I did want to touch base before we get out of here. I want to touch base on this Amy Coney Barrett. I saw that this morning. The Democrats actually come out. These Democrats said, well, how is it that she's going to be a good present mother to these 7 children and be on the Supreme Court? I've got a question for the Democrats. How the fuck was Hillary Clinton supposed to be fucking president and be a present?
Right. She was a mother, whether her child was of age or not. Right. It's
exactly. But now the Democrats are saying, hey, women, grab your pan, get your fucking ass in the kitchen.
Go make a sandwich.
And make me a sandwich is exactly what they're saying
crazy.
Right now. But if the shoe was on the other foot, they would be like, yay, progressive women.
Right.
But since she's a Republican pick, now it's just like, boo, get your fucking ass in the kitchen.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg had kids or a child, a daughter at least.
Right.
So it's like, how did she do it all those years?
Right. Well, apparently, since she was Democrat, it was
like, okay, ladies, let's put our bras back on. And
yeah, exactly.
Go make a sandwich.
Yeah, well, I burnt my bra, but now they're starting to sag a little bit, so let's put them back on.
Right. They're stupid. Right. It's stupid. The whole thing's crazy. Man, they can't choose a side.
This whole thing's getting crazy, and then I saw earlier that Gavin Newsom's saying now that their COVID rates are going back up to the ceiling. They're going sky high again. And so now,
I don't know how that is because everyone in California is having to wear a mask due to the fires.
Well, those masks work so good.
Right.
I mean, if you strap some underwear on your face, you'll stop from getting COVID-19.
One of the smallest particles in the world can escape anything. Exactly. It has to be N95 or higher. It's not working. So.
Right. If you actually look at the diagram, a smoke molecule is 10 times larger than a COVID-19 moisture molecule.
Right.
and a smoke particle will go through just about any mask.
Yeah.
And so there's some wires crossed somewhere. Yeah. Something is completely wrong.
Well, it was, I think it was originated in hopes that it would keep people quiet. It
right.
would mask
them.
Literally mask